Welcome back, and in this video we're going to talk about angles of rotation. Okay, and we're going to be drawing angles in rotation and what is called standard position. Drawing angles in standard position. Okay, what that means is, and when we draw angles, so we're in our coordinate plane, okay, in standard position, the vertex of the angle is always positioned at the origin. Okay, so there's our vertex. Okay, and where we start rotating is on the positive side of the x-axis, and where we start is what we call the initial side. Okay, so when we're drawing an angle from standard position, the vertex is at the origin always, and we always start from the initial side, which is on the positive portion of the x-axis. And then we literally rotate it, and wherever we end up, so we take the initial side, and I'm literally rotating it, and where we end up is called the terminal side. Okay, so drawing from standard position, vertex is at the origin, the initial side is on the positive portion of the x-axis, and where we rotate it to and end up is called the terminal side. Okay, and notice in this problem I rotated this counterclockwise. Okay, and whenever we have to draw a positive angle, we rotate the initial side counterclockwise. We always rotate counterclockwise. Okay, so for example, like let's say I wanted to draw an angle. Let's say I want to draw an angle, let's say 200 degrees. 200 degrees. Well, I start on the initial side, the positive side of the x-axis, and now I rotate this. Since it's a positive angle, I'm rotating it counterclockwise. Okay, so where we're starting is 0 degrees. Okay, so I'm rotating. Once I hit here, this is 90 degrees right here. That should kind of make sense. Okay, and I continue to rotate, and I'm right here. Well, this is another 90 degrees, so this is a total of 180 degrees. Let me clean that up real quick. That looks a little sloppy, even for me. That's 180 degrees, and then I rotate a little bit more, and I only gotta go 20 extra degrees, so I end up right here. Okay, so I took the initial side here, and I rotated it counterclockwise 200 degrees. Okay, and notice when I rotate it, I kind of have a little arrow here. That's because I need to know what direction this angle is going. If I'm going counterclockwise, that means I have a positive angle. Okay, however, let's say I wanted to rotate. Negative, let's say 80 degrees. Well, if we're drawing a positive angle and it's going counterclockwise, you probably already know where I'm heading. To draw a negative angle, I need to rotate clockwise. Okay, but we still start on the positive side of the x-axis. So when I draw my angle here, I'm still starting. I still have my vertex at the origin. I'm still starting on the positive side of the x-axis, and now I rotate just clockwise now. And I would rotate 80 degrees. This would be 90 right here, so I'd be right around here. Let me kind of show where I'm going. And that would be negative 80 degrees, okay? Okay, now another thing that we got to talk about is what if we have a particularly large angle? Like for example, let's say I wanted to draw an angle. I don't know, let's say 500 degrees. Well, I would do roughly the exact same thing. I would have my vertex at the origin. My initial side is on the positive side of the x-axis, and now I would rotate. So I would go 90, 180. This would be 270. This would be 360. So I've done one complete rotation. I've gone around 360 degrees, but I still got another 140 to go. So I'd go another 90 degrees. So now I'm at 450. Now I go another 50 degrees, let's say right around there. And this is where I would end up, okay? So we can have a rotation go around more than once, okay? It depends on the size of the angle. And notice I'm still kind of showing the direction. I'm rotating this counterclockwise, and I made a full rotation and then some, okay? So we always have to show the direction in which it's rotating and pretty much figure out what quadrant we got to end up in, okay? Now, I don't know if your teacher is a little bit more strict on, you know, where exactly it ends up and showing any extra work, but I'm okay with this as long as I see the direction of rotation, if it's going counterclockwise versus clockwise, and if you end up in the right quadrant, I mean, for me, that's good enough. We're going to get into some more specifics in a future video, but for now, this is kind of good enough for me. I don't know if it's good enough for you, if you want to show some extra information, like if you want to go like, hey, this would be like another, 40 degrees. Feel free, do that. It doesn't necessarily matter, okay? For me, at least, it's not necessary. And let's just do one more. Let's say I wanted to go negative. Let's say negative 400 degrees, okay? So, once again, positive side of the x-axis, that's my initial side, and since this is a negative angle, I am rotating this clockwise, so negative 90, negative 180, negative 270, negative 360, and now I gotta go another 40 degrees, so I'd end up right around here. So I got that negative rotation, I can see that, and I can see that we ended up in quadrant 4. Okay, and that's drawing angles of rotation. Okay, make sure you're practicing that. We're going to be talking about some more things, angles, in future videos, but until then, bye.